then
Yeah.
did you spike it a little bit with something? Yeah.
Well, to me it still smells fishy. It hasn't gotten all, since we fed it again. It's on the way, but the fish isn't all digested yet.
Yeah, you can smell fish in there.
When it's right, it doesn't smell like fish, it smells like the nice side of a stream. This you can tell it still needs to brew longer, you know? But now is like critical, so they just spiked it with fish, right? The biology's starting to crank. It's going to suck all that oxygen up that's in that tank, so you got to get it out. If you waited a few hours, the tank would get funkier and funkier and funkier smelling until he keeps it running. It has an agitator. Ah, so
Yeah, that's why
so
agitating.
the agitator is air, or is it?
It's just an air, water pushed agitator. It's just basically
and so that's a
I think he's discovering that our system might destroy the fungi. I never thought about that, but if it's a pump, impeller pump, that's going to be messing up the fungi.
You're going
In one brewer design we put a Venturi nozzle, which is just this little thing, and as the water passes by, it sucks air into it real fast. And then that super aerates the water, the liquid passing past. So are we messing up our fungi? Is that a diaphragm pump? Is that a impeller pump? It's not an impeller.
no, it's just a diaphragm.
It's just going like this, which
Okay,
just
so we're
pushes.
fine then.
Yeah.
So that gives us more time, you know?
Yeah.
And this tea, if you want to come back about probably 8 o'clock, it'll probably be smelling great. But because we didn't have enough stuff in it, we had to feed it more, and now it's not done eating it. You know?
So I got a backpack sprayer, the diaphragm kind
Yeah.
of style. You're just telling me the nozzles, get the biggest nozzle, and then just let it spritz on? I mean, just kind of let it flap. Like,
You're going to have to
like
just
if I were going to
pump as hard as you can to get as fine as you can to a big nozzle. You want the big nozzle so your life gets through it. You want as fine a spray as you can. You know, spray under the leaves, spray on top of the leaves, and then drench to it. You know, and do the foliar in the cool of the morning and cool of the evening. That's the way to do it. So now, Marshall, you want to talk about what you're going to be doing in here? Just give people a little description. Marshall,
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to try to apply heat without a high pressure rating. I usually keep the pressure under 200 psi at about 160 or 180 psi. It's kind of just enough to give us a little bit of say-so over the wind and make a good application.
and you're trying to do it from a distance so that it kind of decelerates before it lands. You know, you don't want to be right there on the soil like blowing it in, because all those little microbes become just so much plasma. You know,
like
so much protoplasm.
splatting a bug on a windshield.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and he'll be doing this greenhouse, everything in it, because we want to keep the health up. Even some of the crops that we're done with, we'll still spray them.
Right.
You know, just
to
to keep the life in the whole
going in the
greenhouse.
soil.
But then he'll come back later on with the drenching nozzle and drench the beets and the other crops that we're still trying to finish in here before the heat comes.
Yeah, I'll come back later on with this, which is just something you would buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it just gives you a lot more volume with a lower pressure rating. It'll just give them a nice drink. We're not equipped right now to feed through our drip lines. If we were, we would do it that way. But this will work just fine.
Yeah, you can put it in the drip lines too.
Oh.
And indeed, for home, if you don't have a drip system but want to be able to put a lot out, you could actually get one of those Horizon, they call them, I think, little Venturi injection systems. They're cheap as all hell, and or all heck, pardon me for the video. You could just have your compost tea with your fish in it and just water with your hose and soak it out that way. And then you can put it on the fine kind of, you know, the kind of hose that's got this trigger handle, and you just close it down. If you had that on mist, it wouldn't be too tight. You can get a decent mist with that, you know, and put it out that way. That's another way to apply. You know. We have a Maisie, it's Maisie, right? Mazzie or whatever. Mazzie injector right now. We're not real happy with it. We're looking to get a better one, but that'll work too. That's a couple $100. There's different injectors, but injectors are real good if you have any kind of irrigation system, because you can just put it out there and have it slowly work into the ground. You can slowly go in all night. The microbes got all the time in the world to settle in.
And it works just as well, right, if you brewed in a 5-gallon bucket and you poured it into 2 watering jugs.
Yep,
I mean,
sure does. You can water that stuff right
just
out
like
there. You
you're
don't need
watering
any
your
technology at all.
flowers. Same way.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the same way. I mean,
Totally.
the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely do that, yeah.
And so there's 2 ways, you know, drench to the roots or sprays on the surface. Drench, just you can pour it in.
Today we're going to do both.
Both, okay.
We'll spray everything, but then we'll drench the crops that we've most recently planted that we're trying to get a jump on, like our beets and our onions and our garlic particularly.
The garlic it's been in a long time, but it's in its critical building stage, so it needs to be fed really well right now.
Somewhere else told me to use it like a wallpaper brush, you know, that kind of you can apply paste with,
Yeah.
and you put it in a bucket and just kind of splash it around. I don't know how uniform that'd be.
Yeah,
You might waste a lot of it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like the best system to be, you know?
Seems like for at home, a regular watering can, like what you would use to water your
Yeah.
flowers,
Yeah.
and then even just a standard, like a solo backpack sprayer, like a 3-gallon or 4-gallon, or even a 1-gallon pump-up sprayer if you wanted to make an application to your leaves.
Yeah.
Weekly.
And then do you have the Thermix in here?
I don't have Thermix in here.
It's in the shed.
I have some fish, and I had put some seaweed in to spike it with both of those, but
Yeah, I'd get the Thermix.
I wasn't sure what you want to do about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got lots of it now. Yeah, so we
Thermix
should
is our
use it all the
spreader
time.
sticker. It just helps us assure that we're getting a good application.
About a
Have you
quarter
used this?
teaspoon per gallon.
Have you used this on fruit trees?
We did last year, but not very much. In fact, we want to do it now. You get the hose over the trees, right?
Oh yeah.
Jeremy thought he saw firefly. I think towards the end of your spraying routine, add Serenade and spray the entire orchard with the tea and the Serenade.
You can do that.
John's actually learned that you can brew microbes. That can get you in trouble if people find out, because some of them are now owned by people. I don't really see how that could happen, but they are.
Yeah.
You mean like dress
but-
up and take them out and stuff?
We learned that actually at a compost tea workshop I went to, they brew Serenade on glycerin. It grows really well on glycerin. You know, so you can add glycerin to your tea, and actually you can put your Serenade in your tea and brew it before you put it out, and you get more bang for your Serenade. If I thought of it, I would have had us put the Serenade in the tea. It wouldn't hurt it for sure, and it might make it more powerful.
It would be compatible with your compost.
Yeah, and so we'll put Serenade out and we'll spray the entire orchard with that. We really are slack on the orchard. We're not really orchardists yet. We're going to have a class on orcharding, so we learn how to do it right. You know? But we want to develop a whole spray routine, because if you spray properly with good stuff, you can avoid a whole lot of the things that bedevil home fruit grows. And so
I got to get that guy that I got for hickory nut. Oh, what's his name? He's from here.
Anthony Owens.
Yeah.
yeah,
well,
we're talking about getting him out.
There's Anthony, and then there's this other guy that deals with all the native plants. He has a native plant nursery.
I know who you're
Chuck Marsh.
No. I'll find it
Did
out.
he write the book? This guy wrote a book. He's really knowledgeable. I'm forgetting his name right now.
This guy helped me when we did the stuff at Hickory Nut Gap Farm years ago.
We'll get the name. Yeah, we gotta do a class on that. We'll be having an orcharding class. Yeah, we're actually hoping to have more than one class a month. You people can live here.
Get a little co-housing.
We'll get some
over
really
here.
big charcoal for condominiums. Yeah. But yeah, we want to have more classes that we can fit in actually. So we'll just, and we also want feedback on that. Let us know what classes you want too. Or if you know somebody, or if you feel you have something to offer, it's not going to just be us. We want this to be just a site for learning and dynamism. You know, I've already figured out 2 things today that I hadn't thought of before that I could do. The other one was talking to Joe Baum. He was asking what to do with the worm casting leachate. That'd be a perfect thing to soak the charcoal in, then throw in a compost pile.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be just perfect. You know, that leachate is not compost tea. But if you just load that, it's nutrients galore, load it into your charcoal, throw it in your compost, then it becomes great stuff. You know? And so this kind of interaction is actually great for me. I always learn more when I'm teaching, because it makes me think, and questions get me to think beyond. Other people's talking get me to think beyond where I am. You get stuck in a rut. You know, you work with what you know, but there's so much more to get.
Let me ask you, on the compost tea, you had mentioned mixing the 2 bags of the McEnroe. Was it the McEnroe?
I gotta get going.
Yes.
See ya.
Thanks, John.
The reason why you would
Thank you.
Because I'm not confident now after this.
of your compost, yes.
Yeah, I'm really thinking.
Good reason. Go
Yeah.
test it. Look at the soluble salts. You know, look at the
Yeah.
CN ratio. That'll tell you a lot. You know.
So could we go ahead and just buy the McEnroe
Yeah.
compost and,
Yeah.
and make our compost team feel good about that?
Yeah, you
Okay,
can.
good.
Okay, a
Yes.
caveat, right? Sometimes they mess up. If you get the compost, you open up and it stinks, take it back.
Oh,
Sometimes they don't have time, they're outdoors,
Right.
their demand is huge, and they're taking stuff they couldn't dry enough.
yeah.
It goes in
If
a
it
bag, it
smells
gets
like
stinky,
really sour.
you don't want to use it. You know, take it back, say this is not the stuff, the
Okay.
product I want.
Open it where you're purchasing.
Or as soon as you get it, yeah, you can just
And
open
you
it.
said something about mix 2 bags together.
Yeah, that's
Just
just
to
to
make
ensure the
sure.
quality's excellent because
Okay.
Okay.
they make great stuff, but they've just gotten to a certain level, and as farmers, they
Right.
haven't been willing to go the other steps, which I understand because farmers are always so worn out
Right.
and their resources are so taxed. So just to be safe, I'd mix 2 bags.
Sniff them both.
Yeah, sniff them both. Make sure they all smell good and look good. They'll be
Yeah.
wonderful. You know?
Okay,
If they
good.
smell funny, or if you see white salts in it or something, then the salts you can probably mix it enough and be fine.
Right.
But if it smells funny, then don't use it. Take
So
it back
how
safe.
does it smell again?
It'll stink.
Oh,
It'll stink
you'll
like
just know.
organic material
Right.
smells when it's wet.
They are,
You know?
right.
Right.
Goes anaerobic. You don't have that rank smell of stinking manure or stinking, compost. Yeah, pretty easy to tell actually. We're pretty much done with the presentation. I think we covered everything on the outline. But I'm happy to sit down under a tree or up at the top there and answer any questions at all. There's also a few more rutabagas and parsnips that weren't done. They're probably finishing. Happy to take questions. Also, something I didn't get to do, if anybody wanted, I'd be glad to drive over and find out. We did 2 pause piles at our other farm in the 4-acre tract, and I really had hoped to find the time to go measure the temperature. Both of them are probably cooling down, but I wouldn't be surprised if the one isn't still well above ambient temperature. And it's been going for at least 6 weeks now. And so I'd hope to get that and give you a report. If anybody's curious, I'll drive over there, we can look together. But you can take my word for it that that's probably what happened. Are there any questions? Do you want to go talk, or are you ready to head out?
Well, just a comment and a plug, I guess, for the Earth Blog Radio. I remember. Anyway, every Tuesday, I think it's 1:15, you come on, and Lisa interviews Patrick about seasonal topics. So it's not only available at that time, you can go to the site and you can listen to it whenever you want, or there's also an feed on iTunes. So if you have a iPod,
And
an
you can ask
iPod,
questions.
you can listen to it. But you can
Right.
ask questions.
Yeah.
What
I don't
time
really
and
encourage
what
people to call
station?
me. I'd probably have to charge you because I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm there then to answer questions.
We
Likewise,
had call
if
the
I'm
number,
if I'm
okay?
not doing
It's
something else,
write
I'm
this
happy to answer
down, and I would
questions.
love for you
My
to call because it's a
information's free
live
if my
call
time is not
show.
taken up.
And you can actually, week by
So-
week, he gives everything you need to do in the garden that week, and then he gives you so much great info, and you can call right in, and the number is 760-913-4149. And it's usually on Tuesdays. The show starts at 1. I do a wrap-up of world food and farming type news, and then we start with Pat at 1:15. It's about a 45-minute call-in for you to have, your chance to talk to Pat every week about gardening, about whatever's going on. So, we've just been getting going, and Joe and his wife participated, and it's so great.
What's the number? AM, FM?
It's on the internet.
Oh, internet.
So here's the great part. If you go to Living Web Farms after the show, you can hear it then. So you can go and you can also look, and it'll pop you up to the Earth Heart Network Radio, which is my channel and stuff, and it'll pop up and you can hear past shows too. That's okay. And you'll be able to hear past shows as well. So whenever it's Tuesday, you'll see Pete featuring Patrick Battle's Garden Show, This Week in the Garden.
So how do you find the station if you want to do it live?
Go to the website and click on the button.
Yeah, and the live, it'll take you to that page. So on Blog Talk Radio, it's Earth Heart. So it's blogtalkradio.com/earthheart is my channel, and then on Tuesdays it's Pat, and we always have the weekly show up there.
Okay.
Every
Doesn't it
week.
just work to click the button and the radio, it starts playing. It did for me.
Yeah, you can do both. Yeah, you can do live. See, that's the recording, right?
I see.
And then if you want to hear live, you go to the actual page. And I want to make a live link
Okay.
with a player,
Uh-huh.
but it's just been another step right now. But you can always hear any recorded show. That's what's so great about radio on the internet is it's timeless and you can always hear it again.
Yeah, great.
After 25 years in radio and thousands of hours of my life going up in the air, it's pretty neat to have it. You can hear it anytime.
And indeed, we eventually hope to have all of our sessions on there too. Maybe not the entire thing. We might actually have a lot on,
Like
but if you
10
want the whole
minutes,
thing, we'll
like
sell you a
snippets.
disc for some reasonable price. But a lot, we'll have all the key parts on there. If you want the comprehensive, we'll probably put it on a disc just so we're not jamming our space up. And then charge some kind of a reasonable price.
We're a non-profit. We're not trying to make any money.
Just trying to stay alive.
Well, we're trying to make sure that we can keep doing it. That's
Right,
it. Yeah.
right.
That's all we want. We want to accomplish with
Synergy.
synergy. Yes, exactly. Yeah. We want as many people as possible to have the tools to keep doing this kind of stuff. So, any more questions? Do we want to head up to the deck, or are you ready to head out?
I think I'm heading.
Well, it's been great, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful.
It's always a pleasure.
Good workshop.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out on a gorgeous day, giving us this great Saturday.
Saturday.